Michael Bloomberg. First of all, he was insulting Trump the other day.
Oh, my God. It was so amazing, wasn't it?
Okay, this is exactly...
Well, the best part of the tweet was he said, we're both from New York. We know the same people. Behind your back, people call you a, what did they say? Carnival barking clown who inherited a ton of money, but through stupid deals and incompetence lost it all, or something like that.
I feel like...
All the New York Maccas turned their back on him, and he never was quite accepted into society. I talked to somebody from the Bloomberg campaign. They said they're hiring an expert on narcissism and combining that. No, this is for real. Combining that person with a comedy writer to get in Donald Trump's head.
Sure, but...
Hello, everybody. I'm Dan.
And I'm Eitan.
And thank you so much for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate you listening. Guys, are you with us?
Yeah. I mean, I am.
You're representing the audience.
Oh.
But yeah, you can reach us at epodibus. Okay, that's EPODIBUS at gmail.com and on Twitter at epodibus. Please check, the link on the show. You can become a supporter for as little as
99 cents.
Wow, that is a broadcaster right there, okay? And yeah, remember, everything goes back into the show.
I'm a real Walter Cronkite.
We appreciate everything that you can do to help us grow our little tugboat of a show.
We also would love your feedback. What do you like? What don't you like? What suggestions do you have? Is there a topic you'd like us to cover? Please tweet or send us an email.
On today's podcast, we'll be discussing
why Trump supporters believe his lies and how we can combat disinformation. That was a lot there.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And some other things.
Yeah, Dan might have something.
And Dan has something. We had the impeachment trial, right?
Well, we had it.
We had it. Now,
fake trial. It's a sham trial.
It's a sham trial. And, the thing about it is we all knew that it was a sham trial. We all knew that the Republicans were just going to acquit him no matter what, right? My thinking was, how can we get a win here? How can we get a messaging win? Because millions of people are going to be watching. And if you message forcefully, then the news is also going to pick it up. That's more millions of views.
Right.
Right. And actually, a lot of people are saying the reason Buttigieg is doing so well is because he'll take an interview from anyone. So he's been all over the news in Iowa and New Hampshire. He'll take interviews from anyone, any show. So people like Biden have been avoiding it because they don't want tough questions.
Right.
Buttigieg, as boring as he is, but people see so much of him that eventually they start to like him. Like when I first met you, I was like, this dude is not, I am not,
I'm still on the fence.
Then I grew to love you.
Naturally.
So anyway, my point is, how do you beat Trump, right? And I had another revelation.
Uh-oh.
Trump can beat Trump. Now, I'm not saying that you lie, that you cheat, that you rape women and do horrible things like a monster.
Right.
But you use some of the techniques that he uses.
So you're saying Trump trumps Trump?
Whoa, you nailed it, brother. Oh, yeah, brother, you nailed it. You body slammed that one. So I envision this. Now, this is just the first draft of a possible part of a speech. You can still have the flowery language for the history books. So you go for the win. Here's a little bit of a speech I just put together real quick, but just some points. Okay, I'm going to do my gravitas voice.
Thank you, Batman.
Trump is a cheater, and we all know it's true. He's cheated on every wife he's ever had. He cheated on Melania with Playboy models, sex workers. He even got one of his girlfriends pregnant and then paid her $2 million to get an abortion. He cheats the American people every day. Foreign countries are renting out whole floors in his hotels and not even staying in them. They stay empty. He cheats by price gouging the Secret Service and others who have to stay at Mar-a-Lago. He cheats the crap out of them, charging them triple the going rate.
Or any of his properties.
Yeah, any property. Trump is a cheater, and we all know it's true. Trump is a cheater, and you defend him. Trump is also a sexual predator and a rapist who even raped a 13-year-old girl, and we all know it's true. He's a monster who preys on women and young girls. Some of you have daughters and granddaughters around the same age as a 13-year-old girl that Trump raped, and we all know it's true. Trump is a monster and a rapist, and you defend him. Now we have a situation where Trump has broken the law by withholding funds mandated by the Congress to go to the Ukraine for defense. He has impeached himself by bribing another country and accepting, quote, a thing of value from another country. These things are constitutional violations, obvious ones. And this is after a dozen cases of obstruction during the Mueller probe. Trump is the most crooked, vile, evil president we've ever had. And we all know it's true. Now you have the opportunity to do what's right. Will you do as you've done in the past, which is defend him, defend this monster? Or will you finally do the right thing and vote to remove this liar, this cheater, this rapist, and traitor? So that's pretty much it. So I'm just using some classic rhetorical things, repetition, beats to everything, just some classic communication techniques.
Well, your language was also very plain and direct.
Right. And it's also pointing out facts, the rapes and stuff by the 43 women. I mean, we don't have videotape evidence of it happening.
Right.
There's the Access Hollywood tape in which he describes doing exactly what some of the women has said that he did to them. And that was before the tape ever came out. So we know in our heart of hearts that this guy is a total scumbag and a piece of crap. So I think it's important because you're not going to get a win on this. He's going to be acquitted by these assholes who've been covering up for him. But at least you can get a win by the millions of people that are going to be watching this because it's a special thing. And also the news is going to be like, wow, you went really hard on the president. And it's like, yeah, I was saying the truth. And also the news has about as much of an attention span as the American public. So they'll move on to the next thing and never go back to really horrible allegations. So maybe this could have been another Hannibal Buress effect where people like look it up. Maybe they go to whoever said these words. Maybe they go to their website, or maybe that person tweets out that video of that woman who was 13-year-old that Trump raped.
Yeah.
That video only has a couple 100,000 views. It should have millions and millions of views.
Let's put it in the show notes.
And it's the only video out there of this woman.
Yeah, let's put it in the show notes and hopefully somebody will tweet it out.
Yeah, we can tweet it out from the show
I think it's
Twitter
a
too.
great idea. They could say this in interviews.
And also think about how irrelevant them going after Hunter Biden is. That had nothing to do with what's going on. So you bring up stuff about Trump that speaks to his character. I mean, that certainly has more relevance than some random son of a rich kid who got a job because his dad's a rich
vice president. I think that Schiff in particular did a very good job. Even Schumer was out there, and the Dems in general did a very good job. But to your point, they could have been giving stronger interviews. They could have used stronger language as well. There's always room for improvement.
Also, we need enforcers, okay? What do? They get Wrestling Boy.
Jim GYM Jordan.
Who was recently in the news because that Ohio shit came up again in the news. They get him. Why? Because he's an enforcer. Okay. He's not like this great transcendent speaker or anything, but he's an enforcer and he'll punch you in the face. We need enforcers. Okay. We don't have enforcers. We need enforcers to go in there and beat the crap out of him. That's why they get him. You win the day. You get your message out and you get your narrative out. You create that story. He's a rapist. He's a rapist. And you repeat it until the cows come home.
Hey, Dan, what's up?
Dude, you know what's up? Anchor.
Yeah, Anchor is what's up.
It is the best and easiest way to make a podcast, bar none.
Oh, absolutely. It's totally free.
Yeah.
So,
gratis.
Yeah.
That's Latin for free. Like, that's how good this thing is.
Awesome.
We're using Latin, dude.
Yeah.
Shit's getting real.
And you can record and edit
Yeah.
the podcast right from your phone or your computer. You don't have to have fancy stuff. We have fancy stuff. We're fancy people.
We are very fancy.
We're like the humble, fancy people. Yeah.
But, you know, we're of the people, though.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about Anchor. Anchor is for the people.
Right.
Any kid with a phone can just do it.
And you can make money off of it with no minimum listenership.
Yeah, exactly. Anchor hooks you up with sponsors.
Hell yeah.
And you just do ads for them.
You just do what
you get paid.
And they'll distribute the podcast everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcast,
Google Podcasts,
you name it.
That.
They'll go to space for you. They love you. Yeah.
Dude,
Anchor.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's free. And it has a lot of great tools. You can do these little videos for like social media and stuff that they make for you, and it's amazing. And it's free.
So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Yeah, that's anchor.fm. Do it, guys. Start your own podcast.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, babies.
Why did Trump supporters believe his lies? And how do we combat that kind of disinformation?
I am not going to like this segment. I know it.
You're going to love it. One of the things that we often can't wrap our heads around as, say sane human beings is why Trump supporters embrace his lies. According to author and attorney Terry Canfield, they embrace them because lies destroy. That's the purpose of a lie, is to destroy something. And that's all that he and his supporters want to do. The last thing that I could think of a Republican actually creating was probably Eisenhower with the interstate highway. Everything else since then, they've just destroyed. Oh, wait. Nixon did create the EPA. Yeah. But he also destroyed a presidency and a country.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I mean, but they're good at making alternate universe and alternate reality.
Like the man, the high caste. But now, because the Repub Party has moved so far to the right, just remember, Reagan lost to Nixon because he was way too far to the right of Nixon.
Yeah.
And they have moved so far to the right that they only know how to say no.
Or nine.
That's
as it were.
Apropos, to the American dream. The only thing that they know is how to destroy.
Yeah.
Nothing has been created by it since then.
It's part of the whole thing of destroying government so that businesses can do whatever the hell they want.
Right.
They don't want to be good at government.
That's the idea. It depends on what umbrella we want to live under. They always use the word regulation. Oh, we're going to end regulations. But if democracies don't regulate businesses, then businesses are going to regulate democracies.
Yeah,
and that's the world that we've been living under.
Another word for regulation could be protection, because most of these things are protections. Protecting nature, protecting workers.
Social Security, protecting Medicare, Medicaid, education, the environment, human rights, equal rights.
Yeah, but literally protecting people from harm when they're building a big building or whatever.
The fundamental.
During the OSHA thing, they like whitewashed that whole website. There used to be like a hotline number on there to call. They took that out. Yeah. I mean, it's really unbelievable and evil what they're doing.
So, the very fundamentals of government. I think that the last dog whistle that the Repub Party has had was Make America Great Again.
How does a dog whistle? Do you know?
No.
See, because they don't know how to whistle. You get it?
You're an idiot. After Make America Great Again, they have said, we've turned every dog whistle into a bull. They don't need to hide behind the language, the semantics.
Especially with Trump. I mean, my God.
So that dog whistle was to go back to a time when white, Christian, straight, wealthy men could do whatever they wanted with impunity. Back before things like insider trading was illegal, before civil rights, before the New Deal, before agencies regulated business. They want to go back to where they could just grab land, like in the frontier, where they could grab women, as Trump said, and grab people and enslave them. That's what they want to go back to.
These are all good things you're talking about. I'm loving it so far.
So now it totally makes sense as to why conservatives, the quote-unquote values party, are so enamored with Trump. And values, by the way, is another word that we have ceded to the Repugs.
Oh, absolutely.
So him grabbing women by their genitals is actually a positive to them. Those 40-plus rape allegations, even with the minor, like we discussed,
13-year-old,
are a positive to them because they feel that this restores the hierarchy of conservative quote-unquote values. It's why they turn against the FBI, because remember, the FBI used to be used mostly to put black and brown people in jail. Remember how they tried to get
Pro and all that?
Yeah, they tried to get Martin Luther King to commit suicide.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine something so horrible? Jesus.
So now they've turned more toward white collar crime. The last refuge of scoundrelous white. I want to use the word scoundrelous.
Going for something there.
No, I don't.
Scoundrelous?
Now they turn more to white collar crimes, the last refuge of the Repug elites.
My favorite color.
This disrupts what the Repugs and conservatives believe to be their birthright, AKA's white supremacy. And you could trace it an absolute direct line from the Confederacy to Jim Crow and the KKK to Trump Fox GOP machine.
Fox News is literally the KKK's favorite news.
Right. And now there's One American Network, which is for people who think Fox News far to the left.
Yeah.
And Sinclair Broadcasting and all these.
Blaze TV.
Slave owners lived like American kings. So what they want to go back to, what they think was great, was the antebellum South.
Sure.
A lot of this comes from Canfield, is when someone points out his lies, his supporters don't care because for them it highlights a an even bigger quote unquote truth as they see it. So take, for example, Trump's birtherism about President Obama, that he was, quote, born in Africa, right?
Everybody knows it. He was born in the bush. He's a liar. Everybody knows it. And I'm going windsurfing.
You've earned it. So that was an easily disprovable lie, but it signals to Trump supporters that the bigger quote unquote truth, which is that President Obama is black and therefore isn't a quote real American. He most certainly cannot serve the office of president.
No,
right?
Black Obama is black. Everybody knows it.
Right. So that was the dog whistle there. When Obama ultimately did release his birth certificate, did all these lunatic birthers give up and say, yeah, you were right. We were wrong?
Of course not. In fact, so many of them still believe it to this.
Right. They doubled down because that's human nature. Human nature is cognitive dissonance and the backfire. Cognitive dissonance is the idea that when, say, cults, for instance, say crazy stuff like the end of the world is coming or aliens are going to make contact, when those predictions don't pan out, then what cults do is they just move on to the next crazier quote
Exactly, the next prediction. Yeah, one of them,
and hope maybe something will come.
Yeah, some of them are like these Christian cults and stuff. So there's one that literally the end of the world was going to come in like the 80s and then in the 90s. And then so they kept on just moving it along and the people still followed through.
Yeah.
And then finally, but then the last time, like the third or fourth time, it didn't happen. And then this woman tried to get her house back because she had given it away because she thought madness.
Michael Shermer, writing for Scientific American, explains the backfire effect as the weird notion where being corrected actually makes some people feel more correct in the original faulty belief. Again, a doubling down.
Yeah.
Many people, for instance, continue to believe that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction even after the Bush administration, which started that lie, even after they admitted it did not.
The backfire effect is what they call what I do in the bathroom in the White House on Taco Tuesdays. I'm human.
Gross. I hope you flushed 20 times. So if the purpose of a lie is to destroy something, then those who want to destroy the modern political establishment, the one in which we live now and is slowly being eroded, this is the one in which we have more equality, more diversity. There are regulations to ensure proper business practices so people aren't taken advantage of.
Sure.
So that our food is
not tainted with horrible chemicals that are going to kill my baby.
Safe drinking water.
Yeah.
They will naturally embrace Trump's lies because his lies destroy. They destroy our comity and our democracy. It's the same reason as to why in the antebellum South, where they want to take us back to, poor whites supported slavery, even though it hurt them. Remember?
Hey, help somebody call me.
Cletus.
I'm just saying I'm the voice of the poor white race.
You like Beetlejuice?
From the Howard Stern show or the one, there's a Howard Stern character on the thing.
Oh, the Michael Keaton one, not the star. Remember, poor whites had to compete with free labor. You can't compete with that. So even though slavery was putting them out of work, they still supported it. And that's why the idea of fascism appealed to his supporters, because a dictator can re-implement this hierarchy, quote, as they see it, and can make things happen very quickly without all those pesky, citizens and voters that they have to.
Right.
In the book, The Origins of Totalitarianism, author Hannah Arendt, did I get it? Arendt? My apologies. Writes, quote, the totalitarian mass leaders base their propaganda on the correct psychological assumption that under such conditions, one could make people believe the most fantastic statement one day and trust that if the next day they were given irrefutable proof of their falsehood, they would take refuge in cynicism instead of deserting the leaders who had lied to them. They would protest all along that they had known that the statement was a lie and would admire the leaders for their superior technical cleverness.
Oh, yeah, I am super smart and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it.
That's why he lies. It doesn't matter to them. They just say, oh, well, it was clever. And it brought out this bigger quote-unquote truth.
Yeah, the bigger truth.
QAnon.
Yeah, the bigger truth is that I'm a truth teller, and people hate truth tellers. Gandhi, MLK, Rocky Balboa.
Okay, well, that's all for now. We'll continue this discussion on why Trump supporters believe his lies and how we can combat disinformation on the next pod. It might be a mini pod, it might be a full pod. We don't know, but it'll be awesome, and it'll be up soon.
We don't have any
good messaging,
so we're just going to do some
bad messaging.
Boom. We are a pseudo Run DMC Act come and see us at the Leaning Tower in Brooklyn.
We're more like walk DMC, crawl DMC, shuffle DMC.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see us.
With our walkers and canes.
Oh, God, no. So Trump had said something, about socialism. He said socialism is bad, it's evil, and he compared it Venezuela. They always talk about Venezuela. So Bernie went on. He was on the Colbert Show. And Colbert was like, hey, Trump said this thing about socialism, yada, yada, yada. Bernie's response was basically, well, Trump lies.
He lies.
But he didn't really go into any details or anything. And, my thing is like, look, just stating a fact is not going to get the job done. Messaging is about getting people to feel what you want them to feel after the fact.
Right.
Okay.
It's the Warren Beatty thing. If people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel.
Right. And everybody knows this, but we have to keep on pressing it because everyone's forgetting it. It's about inspiring emotions, hopefulness, fear, compassion. That's what it's about. The facts are on your side. That's a bonus. That's great. We have to really try to inspire people. So I think the correct answer would have been something, to say like Trump is a damn liar and use the word liar. Nobody uses the word.
Oh, yeah. Bernie
who literally... Well, he didn't in this situation, but I know generally speaking, most people don't use the word liar for some reason on a president who's literally lied more than all presidents put together. So one thing he could have said stuff like, look at how horrible socialism is working in Canada and France and England.
Literally every single other industrialized country in the world, except for the U.S., has universal health care, has paid parental leave.
Exactly. Thank you, buff guy. How horrible is it that they don't have to worry about going broke because they need health care or medication?
I don't know.
I'm Bernie. How horrible is it the scary Socialist Republic of Canada has citizens who pay a tenth of what Americans pay for insulin? We have people in this country who are literally dying because they cannot afford insulin. That kind of thing doesn't happen in other countries.
He does say that a lot, specifically that a lot.
I didn't hear it when on a show that gets millions of people.
Okay.
Like you have to constantly message, constantly. ABC, always.
Be cooking. It's delicious.
No.
Messaging.
Always be communicating.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious because that was a huge audience.
Always be messaging.
No, but that was a really big audience where people were wrapped attention-wise, like.
That's true. It's unlike his rallies where you already have the converted.
So basically, Buttigieg was talking in a couple places, just discussing various things. So one of the things was he talked about Trump and says, Trump gives passes to war criminals. But the problem is he forgets to try to elicit that emotional response, Something he could have said was something like, a guy kills a suspected terrorist, a prisoner, a kid, and stabs him to death.
Jesus, we're going dark.
That's a war crime. And as a former soldier, I couldn't imagine doing something like that. People will care more about an issue if you can share your personal story with it because they're buying into you as a person. Mm-hmm. So you sharing your personal story makes it a lot more powerful and also pointing it out. Like this guy killed a kid, like a teenager, stabbed him. It's important to point that stuff out. It's dark, but this is the world we live in. The Clover Char. I don't know. We're working on a nickname for her.
They have that. They have like Clomentum and Clobe Surge.
I love it because they're all horrible, but that's funny though.
Clover Surge. I don't know.
Well, don't Clover Chart. That's a bad thing. So Clover Char talked a lot about voter suppression, etc. And she brought up examples, about it happening. But the way she spoke about it, they were kind of like in the abstract, like there's these bad things happening. She missed a huge opportunity to brand Republicans as the racist party behind these racist voter laws.
Yeah.
You have to brand them. These are the people that are doing these horrible things. It's un-American, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe she could have said something like, quote, these laws are made for the specific purpose of stopping black people from voting. This is the Republican playbook. They're all guilty of it because they all push it and they all defend it and they hide behind a voter ID law. But the fact is they do not want black people to vote. That's who the party is.
Exactly.
She's just talking about it as if it's these random bad things that happen, but there's a whole structure of evil Republicans behind it. That's like what you were saying, point out the techniques.
Absolutely. The media, of course, fails us. We need our own media channel. We really do, Dan. We got to start it.
We're Epotibus, the network.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, the media also fails us. So, for instance, when Colonel Vindman was removed from his post at the NSC, everybody said, oh, Trump fired him. But he already had plans to make an early exit, as did his brother, from the NSC, except what Trump did was he wanted the headline.
Yeah.
So he said, oh, I had to fire him. And the news media just plays into it. All that they did was talk about Trump fired him, Trump fired him, Trump fired him.
Exactly. Which is beneficial for him because he's the strong guy. He's like, yeah,
Exactly.
You may not like me, but I'm tough.
Exactly. Somebody wrote, if Vindman already told Trump, quote, I'm breaking up with you, the headline should not be Trump dumps Vindman. It should be Trump's trying to look successfully vindictive and we're going to help him. So
that is very good messaging.
That would be much better messaging
I
than
agree.
what the media has been saying.
Yeah, but see, that's the point. Trump always wins the day as far as messaging.
He does now, and that's something that we have to stop.
Yeah, Trump beats Trump. We got to learn
Trump
these techniques.
Trump.
Yes, Trumps. Wait,
No.
Trump's Trump.
Exactly.
You know, and we have to take some of his techniques. They work. They've been proven to work, and we have to start using them.
Well, that's what we're trying to do here is
Yeah.
distill them out, talk about what he does that works, and what he doesn't do that we can also be doing that works.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing is, he's an idiot. He doesn't know
Yeah.
that he's doing, but he has been a salesman for 50 some odd years.
And a con man.
And a con man. And the New York Times gets the gold star for this week for their headline, which reads, Trump's war against the deep state enters a new stage.
Yeah.
That is absolutely, how can you use that kind of language?
I kind of feel like it's said in irony, but it doesn't.
No, it's
play.
not. They put deep state in quotes,
Right.
but that doesn't really matter.
Well, like, see, I told y'all there's a deep state.
Using his frame, even though putting it in quotes, we're still using his frame.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just elevates his message
And amplifies
more.
it. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So somebody wrote something of like, after the defeat, I think, of like Germany stabs Hitler in the back and turns against its leader.
Yeah.
I mean,
funny.
it may as well be the equivalent of that. Dan,
Yeah.
looking at you reminds me of like a larger mailer Terry Gross. Trump released his budget, which has nearly $1 trillion cut to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid after promising that he wouldn't cut any of those programs. More cuts also to the EPA, HUD, the CDC, right in the middle of, I guess, a global pandemic almost. Are we at pandemic levels?
Almost. I
Almost?
think we're
We're
at
at
like bad
epidemic
disease levels.
levels? Okay.
Yeah. It's getting there.
And money for public lands. I mean, the list goes on. Trump has already cut clean water protection and environmental protections, and now chemicals known as PFASs have been detected in nearly all major cities and suburbs with levels far above what is considered safe for humans to drink. These are known as forever chemicals. They are linked to cancer, liver dysfunction, fetal damage, and other health problems.
Forever chemicals, that sounds like diamonds. I have diamonds all over my house. They're luxurious. They're a girl's best friend, I know.
This is a diamond of shame and death. That's what it is.
You're just a Trump hater. Trump hater, never put a Trumper.
Apparently, Trump is now running his and Giuliani's crimes out of the Justice Department. Bill Barr has confirmed that they are vetting Giuliani's info from Ukraine.
Nothing to see here, guys. Nothing to see.
Yeah, crimes, we keep them domestic now. Make America criminal again.
Oh, God, this is just, it just goes on and it never stops. It's unbelievable and horrible.
The National Archives is allowing several documents to be destroyed. Many of these docs are related to ICE. This prevents government agencies, reporters, and historians from ever seeing them.
Yeah, any
ever.
evidence of what's going on. Yeah, it's just another assault on the constant beating that we're taking as a country, as a society. It's just horrible.
Norms, the rule of law. I mean, these are things that people need not only to preserve history, because, people who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. The Justice Department intervened in the sentencing of Roger Stone, leading to all 4 prosecutors to withdraw from the case and one to resign entirely from the DOJ. this is absolutely unprecedented for the Justice Department to interfere in sentencing like this.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire idea of an independent judiciary
Why are you laughing? That's not funny.
under attack.
No, but it's really crazy. I mean, usually they discuss what's going on, with the lead attorney. They go over how long they think. It's important to acknowledge there's a whole equation as to how long they think someone should be in prison.
It's also important to note that the judge is under absolutely no obligation whatsoever to accept the DOJ's new sentencing recommendations.
Of course.
But more importantly, what have the Democrats done? They've whined on cable news and sent some "I'm very disappointed in the service here" letters.
I'm very disappointed
seriously,
in the president.
My mother should be writing these letters because she gets shit done. So yeah, Dems, you gotta step it up. But they have invited Barr to testify, which he accepted on March 31st, which by that time there'll be at least 36 new scandals.
One thing about that is they know that the judge is going to do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're laying the groundwork for when if she does give him a harsh sentence, for Trump to say, you see, these judges are out of control.
Right. That's
this
exactly
is too
what
much
they do.
time. And, that's why I'm going to give him the
commuter sentence or pardon.
They'll pardon him. They'll pardon him and get him right off.
Right. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. They're just laying the groundwork.
And kudos to Judge Jackson for denying Stone a new trial. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's absurd.
Something that we can do is file complaints with the State Bar Association. You don't have to be an attorney to file a complaint with state bar associations.
Sure.
And William Barr is licensed in D.C. and Virginia. We'll have the links to the bar associations
No relation.
in the show notes. I know it's very confusing saying this. But also, call your congressperson.
Yeah.
Call your senators.
Yeah, get active. Every day, this is a problem that we all have to address together and as a united front, because this is a war and we have to be soldiers of this army of America.
Remember, when we are cynical, they win. That is what they are counting on. Okay, according to a study in the Journal of Political Behavior, it concludes that the reason that Trump calls things, quote, fake news is to reduce the news's credibility. What this does is take the truth, lead people to discard authentic information, and impede political memory. So, I mean, it's something that we already knew, but this just adds academic credence to it with some pretty extensive research, and you can read that in the Journal of Political Behavior.
Yep. It's a huge, humongous problem. And, that along with the Russian-style black psyops, it's all part of the same game here that they're playing. You can't make this stuff up, folks.
No, I know. Trump allies are literally handing out cash to African-American voters. The reason for doing this is they know that they're not going to win African-American support, but they can take just enough away from whoever the Democratic nominee is to peel off enough people, and combine that with their massive voter suppression machine, and in key swing states, you might be able to depress the vote for the Democratic nominee enough that Trump would win by a hair, because it doesn't matter if he wins by a hair or a mile. It's winner take all, except for Nebraska and Maine.
In addition to that, these horrible voting machines that either have a modem, Wi-Fi, or Bluetooth on them.
Oh, yeah.
In the last election, there were a record number of wins that Trump just happened to eke out because of these machines. I'm telling you.
For 2016, they said that Russia is able to get into all 50 states. They don't think that Russia has necessarily changed anything for 2016.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be Russia.
Matter. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't have to be Russia. It could be any of the bad actors.
It could be a 300-pound guy in his mother's basement.
Wait, Trump lives in his mother's basement?
Hold on. No, who happened to go out with his little smartphone and just log into, one of these voting machines.
That's true.
Because people are allowed to view the voting that's going on. They can observe. So I can literally go to a dozen different voting places and, with my little app and my Wi-Fi and just plug into the machine, change stuff.
Yeah, it's got to be
super easy to do.
You don't even have to plug in, just through Wi-Fi.
Well, no. I mean, that's what I mean. Plug in, wirelessly and just change stuff. It's that easy.
Voting machines in this country are so insecure. I would say public Wi-Fi probably has more security on it than voting machines.
Voting machines should never be able to be hooked up to the internet, period. That's crazy.
And if you want to know more, I highly, highly, highly recommend following Jennifer Cohen on Twitter. She is
Awesome. And we hope to get her on the show one day.
Yeah. She is probably the foremost expert in election security.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lastly, in shitty news, remember our early days when we called this the waterfall of shit? Or the wall of shit?
The wall of shit, yeah.
It's just coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bigly.
Landmines have been banned in 160 countries, and now the Trump administration is looking to loosen restrictions using them.
Okay, but hold on. These are new, luxurious, beautiful new landmines. Top of the line. America. Great landmine.
Most landmines actually end up harming bystanders, civilians, and mostly children.
Children who are
innocent
like
children.
Yeah, who are like kind of curious and are goofing around.
Yeah, they walk into a field or something.
Yeah, and their legs get exploded.
Right, because they're not picked up after a conflict is over.
Yeah, that's why most countries in the UN were like, we need to do something. And there's a whole UN division for several years.
Unbelievable.
Princess Diana was part of it.
Right, yeah.
They were trying to get rid of these horrible, horrible weapons of war.
That's it for this week. Please give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. In fact, give us a good rating.
Yeah,
give us like 5 stars.
Yeah, or 6 if you can do it. If you're like a hacker,
give us 6 stars.
and you can make a 6-star, do it. We will not tell anybody.
Wherever your podcasts are.
No snitching.
Please also help spread the word. We're a new podcast, and word of mouth is how most podcasts get new listeners. Do it for everyone you know and love.
Yeah.
Do it for democracy.
Democracy.
Yeah. As always, thank you to our supporters, and please go to anchor.fm/epodibus to become a supporter. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
This podcast means so much to me and Dan, and we put so much work into it. We appreciate anything and everything that you can do. Please spread the word. We also would love your feedback. What do you like? What don't you like? What suggestions do you have? Is there a topic you'd like us to cover? Please tweet or send us an email. We're also looking for someone to help out, maybe a researcher, a producer, or something.
Yeah.
Anyone who has some free time, who likes us, who likes podcasts.
Yeah.
Who likes politics.
Please help us.
Please help us.
I mean,
we'd love to do a little bit more in depth. See you next week, everyone.
All right.
All right.
Rock and roll.
Say goodnight, Dan.
Good night, Dan.